This is a very exciting moment for me. I don't think I've ever spoken to so many people before. Please allow me to, first of all, tell you how pleased I am to be joining you for this conference to discuss one of the most, as you probably know, crucial issues facing not only the state of California, but the entire world. But before I begin, let me do something a bit more casual and congratulate the U.S. soccer team for its for qualifying yesterday. It was a very happy sight, and good luck in the next stages. You're gonna need it. Our friends from the Consulate of the Netherlands probably know why. I'm also especially proud to be joining you on this day because coincidentally, it is just one day after a very special observance occasion back home in Israel. Yesterday, November 29th, was the 75th anniversary of UN Resolution 181, which called for the establishment of a Jewish state and set my people on a path towards renewed self-determination. Thank you. And by chance, today is also Ben Gurion Day, in which we commemorate our first Prime Minister, a visionary leader, who said that Israel's future lies in the Negev. And the Negev is actually the southern part of Israel, comprising of 60% of the country. He moved there after he finished his political life. I can think of few other wonderful opportunities to commemorate these milestones than to share with you the unique story of the State of Israel through the perspective of its water revolution, which is an integral part of our centuries-long history. Please allow me to take this opportunity to express my deepest appreciation to ACWA and its leadership team, President Pamela Tobin, Vice President Kathy Green, immediate past President Stephen E. Lamar, Executive Director Dave Egerton, and Deputy Executive Director of Government Relations Cindy Tuck. And to members of ACWA who are devoted to ensuring that the most critical resource in the world is well managed and delivered to California communities. You are doing tremendous work serving a vital need for this great state. I can assure you that many around the world take notice of what is being done here in this state on water management. We all understand that climate change is transforming the way we need to manage water. Scorching temperatures and reports of water scarcity are grabbing headlines as drought caused by climate change creates long-term problems for farmers and communities in California and the world. In Israel, we have understood early on that without adequate water supply, farmers would be forced to plant less in order to ration the water they would need to get through yet another year of prolonged scarcity. In many aspects, California is a global leader on managing its critical natural resources, and I believe a lot can be learned by following its example. But even here in California, as you know better than most, years of drought and shrinking water supplies have placed increasing stress on the state's complex water infrastructure. The water situation in Israel 20 years ago resembles in many ways the situation in California. Governor Gavin Newsom recently stated that hotter and drier weather conditions spurred by climate change could reduce California's water supply up by 10% by the year 2040. The issue of water doesn't see boundaries. It impacts people across different communities and across borders. And global crises require global solutions. So we must look far and wide for new innovations and for new partnerships. For the past decade, Israel has led the world in water innovation. The story of our water miracle was born many years ago out of an overwhelming need to become self-sufficient. For us, it was not just about supply and demand, but it was also a matter of national security. More and more Californians view water in that sense nowadays, and it is creating a unique opportunity to pursue water resiliency in this state. The solutions to solve our water challenges are out there. The knowledge exists, the technology exists, and the sense of urgency to address this issue is already deeply embedded in our minds. So what is preventing us from translating this into action? To answer that question, I'd like to provide you with a deeper understanding, or a slightly deeper understanding, of Israel's water revolution. Like many parts of California, Israel, as I just mentioned, is located in an arid region, and in fact 60% of our land is arid. We faced chronic water shortages and droughts, high temperatures, changing patterns of rainfall, and a difficult environment for agricultural development. Both California and Israel have an expansive coast relative to size, of course. And much like California, Israel used to rely on rivers and lakes, the few that we have, for drinking water, and that water had to be moved long distances to urban areas. And just like California is experiencing now, Israel has seen these water resources become unsustainable over the years. As a result, we've had to come up with innovative solutions to address these challenges. In less than 2 decades, Israel turned the crisis into an opportunity and has managed to adapt to its arid climate, scarce water resources, and climatic uncertainty. Its water consumption per capita is among the lowest in the OECD, and not only do we produce 20% more water than needed, but we now are in a position where we export water to our neighbors. So, how did we create this holistic integrative solution? In the words of Seth Siegel, a water policy expert and author of the bestseller Let There Be Water, Israel's solution for a water-starved world, one component of Israel's success is that the country didn't decide on a silver bullet approach with one magical solution, but rather on an all-of-the-above solution. We began with finding solutions to the country's major problem, the uneven distribution of fresh water throughout. Soon after Israel declared its independence in 1948, waves of new immigrants lacked sufficient water for drinking and farming. Because of its size, Israel has a simplified, singular national water company. And like California, Israel responded to its growing water demand by tapping water resources from different regions of the country and moving it to its major population centers. In 1953, we began constructing the national water carrier to pump water from the northern Sea of Galilee and transfer it from existing regional water projects to the arid central and southern parts of Israel. The construction of this project took 11 years. It was the largest national project at the time, and it was similar in size and scope to California's State Water Project in terms of its impact on the water supply. Upon the network's completion in 1964, 80% of the water transported by the system was allocated to agriculture. But very early on, it was clear that the national water carrier alone couldn't satisfy both the agricultural and household needs of the growing population of my country. As part of a comprehensive strategy to achieve our water goals, other solutions had to be found. And this is when the innovative drip irrigation technology was developed in Israel by Netafim, the Israeli company who came up with it. Utilizing drip irrigation created more water for farming, leaving more available for household and industrial use. By 1965, the year following the completion of the national water carrier, Netafim began distributing their novel system throughout Israel, and to this day they are still a world leader in the field. Today, drip irrigation accounts for 75% of Israel's crops. In comparison, only 5% of farms worldwide use this technology. Despite the transportive advantages of the national water carrier and the conservation benefits of drip irrigation, both still had to rely on Israel's very limited freshwater resources, which were being pumped faster than they could be naturally replenished. By the mid-1980s, agriculture was using 72% of Israel's safe water supply. Israeli engineers realized it was not just about conserving available water, but also about taking advantage of sources previously considered unusable, such as treated municipal wastewater and stormwater. In 1985, Israel began sending treated, recycled wastewater through its system to farms, greatly reducing the gap between consumer demand and available water. And by 2015, we had managed to treat and recycle 86% of our water for agricultural operations, leading the world in wastewater reclamation by an enormous margin. Today, Israel is the largest user of recycled effluent water for agriculture across OECD member countries, with more than 87% of wastewater effluent being reused for agriculture. Our goal is to recycle 95% of wastewater for agricultural use by 2025, leaving more fresh drinking water for the communities that need it. Through Israel's tertiary treatment process, recycled wastewater is cleaned to near drinking quality levels before reaching crops. Although by 1997, Israel has reduced agricultural share of natural freshwater use to 63%, persistent droughts in the mid-1990s compelled us to seek new solutions and turn our attention to the seawater along our Mediterranean coast. So it was in 1999 that the Israeli government initiated a long-term, large-scale desalination program that culminated in the establishment of 5 operational facilities. These 5 facilities produce 600 million cubic meters of water per year and are among the most efficient worldwide, supplying over 80% of the country's domestic urban water. Upon completion of 2 more facilities, desalinated water will cover up to 90% of our annual municipal and industrial water consumption, and the desalination plants combined will produce an extra 300 million cubic meters per year. In 2012, the Israeli government released a national long-term master plan for the water sector through 2050. The plan defined our vision, goals, and objectives, as well as policies on major water issues. It provides a medium and long-term forecast for the balance of water resources in the country with a view to anticipating future water challenges and addressing climatic uncertainty. We couldn't have met our water needs without a comprehensive desalination strategy, and many countries have come to learn from our expertise in this field. Our desalination goal is now 1.1 billion cubic meters by 2030 in order to remain resilient to the drought projected years to come. Our consumption of renewable, natural fresh water shrank dramatically from 504 million cubic meters in 1967 to 98 million cubic meters in 2015, the year that desalinated and recycled water accounted for nearly half of Israel's water consumption. Israel continues to improve the efficiency and production capacities of its water conservation portfolio with many upgraded technological systems and through regional agreements and partnerships. But technology must, as you all know, be accompanied by a change in consumption habits. Education and awareness should be key. From kindergartens to senior citizens, Israelis learn from a very young age that water must be conserved. In the midst of consecutive drought throughout the 2000s, the Israel Water Authority launched multiple awareness campaigns via TV, radio, and internet, urging the public to save water. This public relations campaign was powerful. Anyone who grew up during it vividly remembers the dramatic impact of that messaging still to this day. Such campaigns made water scarcity personal and certainly played a role in leading to an 18% reduction in water consumption in urban areas. Israel also has some of the lowest leak levels in the world. While many US utilities assume a water loss rate, as I understand, of as high as 30%, that number is less than 8% in Israel, something that is attributed to early detection systems, including algorithmic predictors and sonar technologies. Over time, Israel has accumulated a wealth of technological innovation and knowledge in sustainable water management in all sectors of the economy. Disseminating new technologies of water production, water treatment, and advanced management tools could benefit other arid countries and regions, and thus proactively prepare them to adapt to climate change in arid environments. We see it as our duty to share our knowledge and experience with others. In that spirit, Israel has hosted for many years the Global Water Technology and Environment Control Conference, where water experts, policymakers, and stakeholders from all over the world come together to share the growing body of important knowledge on water and the environment and showcase a range of revolutionary technologies and solutions. This conference will next take place in May of 2023 and is now rebranded as Agri-Tech or Agri-Innovation. Dear friends, we are proud to join California and share collective solutions in order to continue the fight against climate change and water scarcity. One example of an Israeli innovative water solution is here with us today. WaterGen is an Israeli company that literally makes water from thin air. It harnesses the condensation in the atmosphere to create potable drinking water in small, medium, and large scales and provides water to remote locations where access is the greatest barrier to water. Water diplomacy is also a pillar of Israeli foreign relations. An example of such cooperation exists among Israel, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates. In a deal recently struck, solar technology produces energy in Jordan, energy which is then channeled to a desalination plant in Israel, and in turn, the Israeli plant supplies Jordan with potable water. This project is a reflection of Middle Eastern collaboration on critical issues of sustainability. It is an example of how peace can lead to sustainable and long-lasting solutions that benefit all peoples in the region. Another international collaboration that can be relevant to California is the 3 bilateral non-profit foundations that support Israel-US joint ventures on research and development, science, and agriculture. The Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation, the U.S.-Israel Agricultural Research and Development Fund, and the U.S.-Israel Binational Science Foundation. Together, these funds provide millions of dollars to U.S. and Israeli companies, government organizations, and academic institutions. They are an invaluable resource for joint collaborations into finding unique water solutions, and I encourage you to utilize these opportunities as presented by these funds. The Memorandum of Understanding between California and Israel from 2014 also provides a framework for addressing complex issues of mutual interest, and water is chief among them. Strengthening this MOU would lead to further collaborations that could meet our water goals, but we must renew support for this agreement and devote energy into pursuing it. Ladies and gentlemen, as recently as 2 weeks ago, Governor Newsom stated that California needs to diversify its water portfolio and stretch existing supplies as extreme weather threatens to reduce the state's water supply by 10% by 2040. Desalination, he underlined, is an important part of the state's strategy to address the threats of extreme weather. So it seems that California is pursuing solutions that have proven successful for Israel. And it seems that California and Israel are incredibly similar when it comes to their water challenges. The conclusion, therefore, should be clear. California and Israel should work closer together on this as the partners and allies we've always been. Thank you very much.